Welcome to the Clive Holland Show on Fix Radio, across the nation on DAB, with a special podcast with a very special guest again today on the Clive Meets Guests. This man, I have to say, is very well known to everyone who's a big fan of DIY SOS, and I'm sure you'll recognise his voice as well when we introduce. He's the sausage. That's his favourite catchphrase. He's also known as the Prince of Darkness. We'll get into that as well somewhere along the line. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Fix Radio the magnificent, the brilliant Billy Byrne. Billy, we're very privileged, you know that. You are television royalty, you realise that, in terms of, obviously we're a construction radio station, and you're involved in the electrical side of things, of course, with DIY SOS. And when we think about DIY SOS for a start, 32 series, is that right? 32?
23 years, 32 series, and thank you for that lovely build-up for the introduction.
Mate, people love you, you know that. That's the thing. You are a legend. You're so loved, right? You're so humble, but you are so loved as somebody on the box, and they always look forward to seeing you. And any time I mention DIY SOS, I'm afraid, whether you like it or not, it's always you that comes to the forefront name-wise. So there you go. You are a part of the foundation of DIY SOS, and we're talking about that in terms of 242 episodes. 200. Can you believe that? First of all, 242 episodes.
That's amazing feat. The thing was, when we first started, we were just there. It was 3 days. Got in, got out, worked 18 hours a day, got in and out. We didn't realise it was going to carry on, and then all of a sudden it went to 5 days because health and safety. You're not allowed to work all them hours, which is right. It went to 5 days. And it just picked up. I think because of the variety of people we had on it. Nick is a brilliant leader, Chris, Jules, and then it was Bob, and then me. And we gelled. It was great. But the thing is, they were only 29 when they started. I was 49. So now they have just reached my age.
When you started?
When I started, yeah.
Which is incredible, isn't it? Now, talking about when you started, but we'll get back to DIY SOS in a second or two. I need to go back to Billy the schoolboy, 14, 15, 16. Did you know what industry you were going to go into? Did it fall into place for you? Did you get... Because obviously, back in the day, and I remember that well, that you had options at school. You could do woodwork, you could do metal work, you could work with engines and all sorts of things. What were your options? Where did you really want to go?
To be honest, I wanted to be a footballer.
Yeah, like all of us, yeah. So we all wanted to be a footballer. So were you a good level footballer? Did you play for school?
I played for Tottenham youth team in the South East Counties, and on my debut, I scored the winning goal against Millwall. And the only guy that's got a record at is my long-term best mate, Johnny Gilroy, who was at Tottenham for 5 years as a professional. But obviously there is so many kids out there want to be footballers, and you have to work hard and be very special. So as a backup, I needed an apprenticeship. I started at a big plastic division of ICI, and I missed the allotment of being an apprentice. So I left ICI, I went down to the Labour Exchange, and I just said, I need an apprenticeship. I don't mind what apprenticeship it is, I need an apprenticeship. Just had it in my head. Lucky enough, there was an apprenticeship going in Hatfield to Man Robinson's. So I went over on my scooter, had an interview. All he asked me was maths question, and that was it. I got the job, and I started the following week.
When you think about that, a maths question, this is very different to today, but an apprentice as what?
I was an electrician.
As an electrician.
Oh, didn't I say that?
Yeah, so that's where... Now, talking of your love of Spurs, you've got a massive love of Spurs, realise that, and the fact that you played for the youth team as well is quite brilliant. Now, just a little special treat. If you think about this, like, this guy that's on the line right now that's going to be speaking to you, right, there's a little special treat. All right. He was capped 3 times for England. He played for Sunderland, Man City and Liverpool. Made his debut for Spurs on the 1st of October 1988. But he did score the opening goal in the 1991 Cup final against Forest. Do you know who that is?
That's Forest. That's when
Gazza did his ACL.
Got injured. Clive Holland.
Well, I'm going to tell you because he's on the line right now. We're really chuffed that he spared the time to come and have a chat with the legendary Billy Byrne. It's Paul Stewart. Paul, welcome to the Clive Holland Show.
Thanks very much. Thank you. You all right, Billy?
Hi, Paul.
You were never going to get that, was you?
No, I'm sorry. I mean, Man City and then Tottenham and the other places you played. Yeah.
Liverpool, Sunderland as well.
Wow, that's a great period of your time playing for great clubs like that.
Well, I had a great time at Spurs. I mean, we were a lively bunch, Billy. But you know, we when we were on our day, we could turn anyone over. But it wasn't often enough to win the title. But it was very enjoyable. Some great players with Chris Waddle and Gazza and Paul Allen and Gary Mabbott. They were good times.
What was Terry Venables like as a manager?
He was brilliant, you know. I mean, he never lost his head. He would always pull you to one side, you know. I know back then you had a lot of managers that would scream and shout and throw boots and tea and coffee around the changing rooms, but Terry was never like that. He was always cool, calm and collected. And I think, certainly for me anyway, when he was managing and certainly coaching, because he did all the coaching, it was just interesting every day. You know, sometimes it can get monotonous in a way that you're doing the same thing every day. But what Terry did, he'd been at Barcelona, he came over and he put his own style on it. And it was just enjoyable to go into training every day. And I think that's what stood out for me.
Paul, do you remember Terry Venables' first game? It was a League Cup match.
First game. I don't. He would have because he signed me, so I don't know when he took over.
Well, his first game after we got him from Barcelona, it was Port Vale, and they turned us over.
Really?
They beat us in the cup. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was his first game for Tottenham as a manager.
It's interesting. Paul, I'd love to know as well, you scored the opener against Forest. There's a couple of features in that game. Obviously, we all remember Gazza's ACL with that crazy challenge.
Yeah.
But what was it like to score? What was it like to score at Wembley?
Well, do you know what? I suppose back then the FA Cup was a coveted trophy, wasn't it? And it was something that everybody wanted to win. And as a schoolboy, when you're growing up, you're watching it on TV, you know, because it was the whole day, and it was boyhood dreams really. And then to go out there and score a goal in front of a full stadium, and moreover go on and win the trophy. It was just, you know, it was just amazing, and I probably can't put it into words how amazing it was, really.
Well, Paul, once you've done something like that, it's what you've aimed for. It's being a child at school, going to be an apprentice as a footballer, and your dream. Yeah. Your dream is the FA Cup. Another dream, obviously, is to play for England and captain, but to win the FA Cup is an amazing feat. You know, and it's right up there. And I still believe the FA Cup is the best FA trophy throughout all of the world of whatever the local FA Cups are in Italy, France, Germany and Spain, you know. It's just got that special ring about it.
And we gave the world football anyway, so stuff them.
I think you're right, Billy. You know, the FA Cup is special. I do wish teams, you know, would treat it as such. I mean, everybody looks forward to Cup Final Day, we used to call it, didn't we? And it was, like I say, it was from morning when you had breakfast, the cameras followed you everywhere. And we used to watch it as kids and just think, oh, one day I'd love to be able to do that. And I agree with you. It's a special, special trophy. And you know, I'm privileged and honoured to have been able to play in one with Spurs and go on and win it. It really is a privilege. So what do you think about this season then, Billy?
This season? Really? I'm sad. I am sad. Yeah. I think we have got the players, but it seems very negative at the moment. I was at the Lisbon game and Sporting Lisbon game, and I went out and I watched the first half, and I just want us to attack. I just don't want Lloris to have the ball, pass it to his left back and then his right back within the 6-yard back. People are just pressing us. We need to extend our football. Let's play football. Let's go on the front foot. Not think, I don't want to give it away. It's like a grenade. I don't want it. Don't give me it. I'll give it to someone else.
Yeah, it's a tough watch at the minute, isn't it? It's hard to see what pattern we're playing. I think we're wanting at the back. You know, we're going to concede goals unless we tighten up. And it's like I say, it's a difficult watch at the moment because you don't know which Spurs are turning up. And I don't really understand this, how, you know, they've been in the second half, been able to come on the game when they've already went down a couple of goals. It's just not how, you know, football. You don't win things by doing that, do you?
No, but the thing is, if a team 2-0 up, they sort of might try and hold on to that, and that gives us a chance to go forward with Kulichevsky, Bentancur. We have got the players. I think we need someone else with Romario, another solid centre-half. And
definitely.
We've got the fullbacks, but he seems reluctant to play some of the boys we've bought, or we've bought for him.
We just acquired one from under the nose of somebody, didn't we, on the right side in the transfer window. I'm sure he was at another club, and then I think he was at Everton and ended up signing for us till the end of the season. And I think he's playing as one of the wing backs. His name escapes me at the moment, Billy, but I'm sure it's only over the last 10 days that he's come in. So
we were going to get the lad from Brighton, the forward from Brighton, and Levy I can't say. Levy wanted to haggle over £21 million, and I believe he's gone to Arsenal.
Yeah, was that Trossard?
Trossard. He's gone to Arsenal.
Yeah. He's gone to Arsenal. Yeah, right under your noses. Last two questions, guys, because I know you're busy, Paul.
No worries.
But first of all, between the pair of you, do you think Kane will stay? You obviously need him. Do you think he'll stay?
Yeah.
I would love him to stay because of who he is and what he's done for Tottenham. But if he did leave, he'd have my support because he has been, for the last 8-9 years, our go-to person. He makes the goals, he scores the goals. Trouble is, when he's in the midfield, he looks up and you're looking for Kane in the box and he's got the ball at his feet, you know.
Nobody there.
And I think also when you look at his career, I mean, I'd still love him to stay, but he doesn't want to finish career without a trophy. You know, I think Alan Shearer was one that, you know, stayed at Newcastle for so long, but ended up really no silverware. And I think Harry deserves some silverware along the way because of what he's done for Tottenham. Exactly what you said, Billy.
Yeah, amazing man, and a lovely man. You know, feet on the ground. He hasn't I am Kane, I'm the best here. He's actually, every player can feed off him, and he's a remarkable man. And any young footballers or any young apprentices footballers,
good role model.
Just look at him and think, wow, what a wonderful person he is.
Just finally then, boys, where do you think they're going to end up? Give us a league table position. Do you think they'll go top four?
I don't think we're going to do it. And, you know, it disappoints me to say. I mean, you look at top four now and people see it as success, but I just don't think we've got enough in the tank to do so. And it would be a nightmare because the last thing I want to see is the Gooners win the league and us not finishing the top four. That would be my worst season ever.
I'll tell you a little story. Is worth 1977 when our Pat Jennings went to Arsenal. Remember that? Pat Jennings went to Arsenal. Oh dear me, that was a hard one to take. Yeah. But it's just like Kane now. Pat Jennings was a brilliant, loyal player. And
he was around when I was there. Yeah.
We bought Alexis from Luton, and Pat Jennings was going to go to Ipswich, but he went to Arsenal instead. But that was his move because we were getting rid of him.
Yeah. Unlike Sol Campbell, we won't go there, though.
No,
we definitely won't go there. Listen, Boys, thanks, Paul. We really do appreciate you sparing the time, my friend.
My pleasure.
What are you up to these
My
days,
pleasure.
just out of interest?
I do a lot of safeguarding work. I go around the EFL clubs and talk to the young boys, in the scholars in the academy, and the coaches and the parents, and just make them aware of the dangers that can be out there, and hopefully educate them a little bit about what they might face as they take this career path. And hopefully, with my background, it gives them a little bit of a leg up and makes them aware that they've got a good opportunity, and just to make the most of it.
It's a really important job, Paul, for sure. Again, thank you so much for sparing
Just
time.
one thing, Paul. In the semi-finals, though, we lost to Nottingham Forest. Did we beat Arsenal in the semi-finals that year?
Yeah, that was Gaz's free kick.
At Wembley, weren't it?
I remember that.
Yeah.
And Gaza scored that.
Final at Wembley.
Exactly, and we beat Arsenal.
Yeah.
The
What a
Gooners,
good one to finish on.
the Gooners are getting a kicking on this show, and rightly so. Listen, thank you very much, Paul, for your time, and hopefully we'll speak again soon. Yeah, thank you, mate.
God bless, Paul. Take care.
That's the brilliant Paul Stewart there. Just a little bit of a surprise for young Billy. You listen to Clive Holland on Fixed Radio, the Builders Station, across the nation on DAB. We've got a special podcast going on now with, of course, Billy Byrne from DIY SOS. Before Paul was on, we were just talking about your apprenticeship and how you got involved in the electrical side of things. Tell us a little bit then, moving on, because we're going to go through some of the photographs, etc. But moving on, you then started, am I right, am I wrong, you were involved with Only Fools and Horses.
What happened was I finished my apprenticeship. I took 6 months out. I went to Benidorm to work, and just doing flyers on the beach. I worked in a cafe, a restaurant type thing, bar and that, and I used to be the chef. And I used to make the omelettes and the minute steaks. And they used to say I make the meanest omelette in Benidorm.
There's no end to your skills.
Well, yeah, I only used one egg. That's how mean it was.
That was that tight you only breathed in.
Yeah.
That was very tight. But of course, then beyond that, how did you stumble across getting involved with what is a massive, still today, so many people watch it. I mean, at one time, there was one of their episodes over Christmas did about 28 million viewers. It wouldn't happen today because people, consume television totally differently. But how did you get involved in that, and what was it like?
Back in 1980, I joined the BBC as a film lighting electrician. That is where Only Fools and Horses, 1 Foot in the Grave, and light entertainment and dramas we used to do. And we should go all over the world doing documentaries. I was with the Olympic team in '83 in Lanzarote. They were doing heat training for Los Angeles Olympic Games. So I just got involved, and as I was an electrician. Well, what happened was in 1999, big jump here, BBC Bristol were looking for a group of lads, builders, to come and start this DIY SOS. So you had Chris, Jules and Bob from Bristol, from Devon, went up to Bristol. But they wanted a BBC spark, so they phoned my office up in London, and there was 50 of us, remember? And they said, have you got a spark that's a bit this, bit that? And they said, yeah, we'll send you Billy. So they're lucky enough they came up and interviewed me in my house. And my wife, Elaine, she was a spot welder. She used to be a welder doing all the gimbals. And in the lampshade.
Oh, yeah, gimbals.
The gimbals. Yeah. So she used to spot weld them. Anyway, she'd come home early that day and it was so hot. She just went up, had a bath, laid on the bed. And I never thought about it. Now, Rachel come from BBC Bristol to interview me, see what I'd done. So I was showing her around the house. I said, we've done this, we've done that. And I thought, I put a fan in her bedroom. I'll show her that.
No.
And I got on, as we opened the door, all you hear is Elaine go, what? And of course, Rachel's got now this camera and she's filming, and Lainey's there with nothing on the bed. So that didn't get in the edit somehow.
Love it. You weren't to know, but that must have been a big shock to her. So then you got involved with DIY SOS, of course. In terms of DIY SOS, you could never have believed it would become the juggernaut that it did.
No, as I said, when we first started, it was only going to be 6 shows, 1 episode. But Nick is such a wonderful man. He's such a generous man. And he looked for bigger things. What can we do next? Let's get involved in a big build. Let's get families together, instead of just giving someone a kick up the bottom, saying, come on, you can sort this out, and we do 2 rooms. All of a sudden, it come this big build. And through Nick and through a lot of people he knew, builders and merchants and everything, they supplied us with materials. And then we kicked on again. Nick's again an idea. We do veteran village. We do a whole street. And it's all revolved around Nick. He's really pushed us on. And that is where the end and the end of all it is. It is Nick Knowles that keeps pushing the barriers. Yeah,
and it goes on and on and on. Now, the thing is, at the minute, obviously, we've got, the cost of living crisis, prices of materials are all over the hockey. It's just generally very difficult now for such a lot of our industry. I obviously get feedback from, electricians, from plumbers, from bricklayers, plasterers, about what their life is like at the minute. How is it that you can still attract all, because they give of their time for free, right? Which you've got to applaud them for, all the trades that come and help you guys. But do you notice now, in comparison to, say, even a couple of years ago, do they seem a little bit more stressed out, some of the trades? Do you get that vibe that it's a bit more of a struggle?
I don't know. It might be a relief. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah.
Could be a relief.
An escape.
They're not getting paid, so they haven't got any targets to it. They're losing money, yes, obviously, but they're not letting anyone down. They're not going to go home thinking, I could have earned £1,000, whatever. They've thought, wow, look what we've done. Look how we've put this family back together. Sorry.
And they're proud of that.
And they're proud of it. And we have got a name through Chris, Jules, and the boys, Mark, as well. They've worked on it. And people, they come and see if we do work. Do they really work? Chris, Jules, they did non-stop. And Chris is so good at organising everything, getting all the boards ready and everything. Me, I do all the sparking, as you know. And but I'm not the governor. When the boys turn up, I say, who's signing the job off? Because you have to do testing and everything, sign it off. And someone will step forward, Simon Bell from Derby, Sam Clancy, Manchester, Matt Francis, Matt Garnett. I've got my sparks that just will turn up all the time. Sam come and done
That's so good.
Yep, Sam come and done the Children in Need in Leeds. And he lives in Manchester. But he ran that job, and he was there a week before, and he was there a week afterwards working. I don't know, it's just one of these things. They're not there to be on telly. They're not there. They're there to help this family, and people relate to what's happened to their families that's happened to other families, and they can relate to it, and they just say, right, where do you want me? I don't even, we've had people, when we've done Welling Garden City one, they just said, they're all tradesmen, but we had a lot of tradesmen, said, right, we'll clear the site. We'll keep the site clean. And that is one of the biggest steps you can do. Keep the site clean so people can go in and work. Yeah. And it's amazing. It just, I stand back and look and think, wow, look, we've built a monster. A good monster, a monster that everyone wants to get involved in.
And it's a massive group effort as well. The reason I'm asking you this question is because a lot of our guys are going through a lot of stress at the minute. I get a lot of feedback, our messages, they're stressing out because obviously with the cost of living crisis, a lot of their customers are pulling pulling back from the jobs, so they've got less and less jobs. We've got a terrible, in our industry at the minute, and I don't want to bring this down, but in our industry at the moment, we're losing 10 of our industry a week, Billy, 10 of our industry a week to suicide. That's just, that's a shock. It's a shock, but that is the latest stats that we have, that we're now losing 10, just purely due to the stress of the whole thing. Do you ever find you got regular faces still coming to, to do the jobs with you? Have you ever been in a situation where you've spotted somebody's not quite what they were the last time you met them? Or do you ever broach any subjects like that? If they're looking a little bit stressed out or they're worried about stuff, do they talk to you about it?
I haven't come across it. Because if they have got these problems, when they come to DIY, they can see the problem that we're fixing.
Yes.
So they know, wow, there are people that are worse off than us. So, I mean, we chat, we talk and everything, but I never hear of anything like, oh, at home, I'm not at home.
Yeah.
No, you don't hear nothing like that. They're here for one thing, and that's to enjoy themselves, to forget the stress behind, but they're talking to other trades as well. They might talk about it within themselves, but they don't talk to me personally. And Chris, they might talk to Chris, they might talk to Jules. But I've never heard that. All I know is if you want to do a job and someone says, can I just get in there? You step back and go, yeah, you get in there. I'll just follow you.
Yeah.
Because no one's got any targets or deadlines.
Yes.
And it's just...
And it's all for the positive good as well.
Exactly.
So it's full of positivity, isn't it? Because we always say that in our trades we're always great because it's so macho of putting on this mask of everything's hunky-dory and everything's fine. I only learnt about all this when I joined Fix. It was just something that came out of the blue. Guy rang into studio, said, look, my father committed suicide. I was shocked. He was 52, didn't realise all was going on in the background of his business. And he said, I ran it for 2 years and I feel the same. And I thought, I'd been in the building trade. I never heard of anything like that. And then when we delved into it with the people from the Lighthouse Club, who help our industry, they put food on the table and help them out if they're struggling, then they gave us those stats and I was thinking, boy, that is a big shock. So I was just wondering if you ever got a vibe, but because you've got all that positivity and you're right in what you're saying, they're working for people who are worse off than themselves. And so therefore, it could be like a light bulb moment really to go, actually, I'm all right.
And also, they're meeting other trades and they're meeting their own trades from different areas. And one of them might say, well, I'm struggling a bit for work. Right, I've got work, come and join me, and they share the work.
That's a community.
Share the work. Yeah, come and join me. I can give you 5 days, I can give you a week.
I love that.
Whatever,
Now then, we've got to get on to a couple of other things while we're at it. In terms of the volume of trades that come and help you guys, can it sometimes be chaos or is it well organised? Because sometimes you've got like 5, 6 sparks. You probably have about 10 plasterers. I spoke to Chris Frediani. Chris, of course, does a show here on Fix Radio every Friday, the plastering show. And he says, there's so many bodies around. Is that sometimes very difficult?
Never get in Chris's way. Never, ever get in Chris's way or walk into one of his walls he's just plastered. All hell is let loose.
You see, I've never seen that side of Chris. So, so now you've told us that. That's interesting.
He's super guy, graphs and everything, and he's get out of my way, and because we have targets when we're working. Now my sparks will come in, the plumbers will come in, and we try and get all the first fix done. Because we know on Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, there's going to be 20 boarders come through that door and we've got to give them rooms. And it's right. Because we've only got 10 days, we've got to give them a room. We could start at 7 o'clock in the morning, work to 9, half 9 at night. Get that target. Make sure we got targets. So when Chris's plasterers come in, let him have it. Let's get out of his way. Let him have it. We can always do something else because there's always lights and electrics in the garden.
Yeah.
and to be far away from Chris when he starts, you got to be.
Yeah. Just don't mess up on the first or second fix. is the key where the plastering is concerned. So that's interesting that everything is well organised, even though there's a multitude of trades on some of these major jobs. There's a multitude going on there, so it's really well organised. How does Gabrielle fit into this? Because she is a lone female, really, in your team as the designer, and I know she takes a lot of stick. I know you've made the team have done a lot of pranks on her and things. She told me that.
Gabrielle is a special person. She is special. All our designers are very special. I mean, if they're the governors, they're the boss. They're the one that says, this is what I want. This is what I want. And you've got to do it. And the times when you've wired the kitchen, you put all sockets in, all nice and everything, so you think, no, I want that move because I'm putting something there now and that's in the way. And you think, you can't do it, Gabrielle. And then she just flaps her eyelids and then her cheeks go all red. Then you go, oh, all right. And that's why she gets away with it. But she is so good at what she does, and I don't see what she sees when she looks at what the room's got to look like and where she's got to put everything.
These designers, interior designers, are pretty good, aren't they?
She's amazing. You know, she's got to allow for hoists, allow for lifts. She's got to allow for rooms for wheelchairs, anything that something disabled. She's got to allow it, and she's asking us to build it for her. So yes. She deserves the last word.
What, in terms of, it's all very emotional, of course, on the reveal day. What has been, to you, can you remember one that was particularly emotional, big standout?
They've all got their own merits, and they are, as you say, they're all very, very emotional. My one is Enfield, and the couple there, we put in a lift and everything for... I see names are gone now, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Don't worry about
that. Davina's the wife. Eric, he I can't remember now. But that is, I'm sorry, it's the one that sticks out in my head. We worked hard for him, and Eric, he had motor neurone disease.
Yeah.
And we did lose him, but we gave him another 5 years, you know, and his daughters have gone on to do so well afterwards and everything. But Eric Rivers, that's the one, and Davina, that is in my mind most of the time. But another aspect of this is we were doing a lift down in Arundel, Hampshire, miles and miles away. Because we lost Eric, Davina offered us the lift that Eric had. And so we said, we need it. So she got the lift out, and the people who put it in brought it down to Hampshire, and we put it in another house. So it didn't get wasted.
Yeah.
And it's now in the house with this beautiful, beautiful lady that's full of life, who lost her, you know, her feelings and everything from her hip down. And, yeah, Eric Rivers and Davina and the children stick out really a lot in my mind.
And it makes it so worthwhile when you see the reveal, because you're in the thick of it, you're doing all the prep, you're doing all the work inside, and then when it's finished and you stand back and you look at it, it's now, because I always say our industry, we've got the best tradespeople in the world, and that's not being biased. I've seen plenty of work like you have across the world, so I know that our tradespeople are the best in the world, and I always think they're artists as well when you think about it. Plasterers. I mean, for Sparks, it's a bit more difficult because they don't see most of the work. It's hidden.
You cover it up.
You cover it over. Yeah. And I have to say, Sparks on our show, they take some stick. I'm telling you now, because you know they reckon that they like their cigars with the £20 note and all that sort of thing.
No, that's the plumbers. That's the plumbers. We've only got fivers.
So again, the Sparkies always have a go at the plumbers. It's brilliant, back and forth. But when you actually stand back and you see the work, and then you see the emotion of the contributors, the people who you've done the work for, oh man, it must be such a endorphin filler.
It's. You take a step back, and I'm one of the first to go, oh, you know, it gets to you, it's personal, it's brilliant, and everyone there, that's why everything is so good. Everything's 100%, all the workmanship's 100%, because they want this family back together without any hardships, and what they've done to the house, the family can use it. There's no use doing something that's not going to work in 3 months, or the wall's going to fall down or something like that.
Yeah.
That is why they're so professional, and the way it's organised, it's done that way. The emotions do run high, and one of the best parts of DIY SOS is at the end, when with the crowds welcomed the family and everything, and that at the end of and Nick walks to the back of the crowd, and the words he says.
He does his outro.
Oh, gosh.
Fantastic.
Because we don't hear that till we watch it.
Yeah.
And you go, whoa,
Yeah. Emotion all over again.
Yeah, we can't help everybody, but someone can help someone. Things, just little sayings like that, what he does, it's brilliant. And that's what goes for,
It hits you again for a second time. So as far as we're concerned, in terms of fixed radio, I asked, I asked some of our guys.
Is that gin or water?
I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. So we asked some of our guys if they've got any questions for you. Okay.
Oh,
so we've picked a few out from some of the tradespeople, and we've got some questions for you that hopefully you'll be able to ask. This from Bowman Joinery says, "What's your best and worst experiences on DIY SOS?" You're going to say you haven't got any worse ones now, aren't you?
Well, I suppose when we haven't hit the deadline and we have to carry on, that is one of the worst positions to be in, because you wanted to get the family back in. But it's usually the big jobs, the children in needs, or the veterans, which carry on. But disappointments, there's no disappointments. I'm sorry, but I can't think of a disappointment.
I would imagine I was going to say that.
There's no it's all uplifting. It's all wow. I don't want to sound cringy or something, but you walk away, you're 10 foot tall.
Yeah.
And you're that wide. You're as wide as Clive.
That's wide. That's wide. We have to shoot this in wide angle. But I always say I'm good value for your widescreen telly.
Exactly.
So, now the thing is that somebody was asking about how did the Prince of Darkness tag come around?
This is very early on. What happened was, when I was an electrician out on the roads, it used to be fuse boards where you pulled a fuse and the circuit was dead. But I've been in the film game for over 20 years before DIY started. So obviously I went in and they got RCBs. So I just turned the breaker off and I'm testing everything, circuit's dead. But when I cut the cable, everything tripped. And I thought, well, what's happening there? So I had to phone my nephew up and I said, Simon.
Simon's a sparky.
Simon's a sparky, yeah. Oh, so am I, honestly.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I worked with you in 2005 on the Ideal Home Show.
Oh, my gosh.
When you were with Vic Reeves's wife. You were on stage with Vic Reeves's wife, do you remember?
Yeah.
She's gone on to do great things. I can't remember her name now, but you were wiring...
Mrs. Reeves.
Mrs. Reeves. You were wiring, got a camera above your head, on stage, massive audience in those days, and we were talking about rewiring a plug top. The thing is, you can't do that today, but we're rewiring a plug top. And neutral was going into live, and live was going into neutral. And I thought, this is a wind-up, Billy. Because I come on stage going, it's a wind-up, isn't it, Billy, this? And, he,
my God.
And you went, I think it was just, the thing was, in front of a live audience like that, it was pressure. And I was going, that ain't right. And you went, oh, no, it's not. I was thinking, that isn't real. When you come backstage, I thought, you did that on purpose, didn't you? And I
yes,
don't
of course.
Yeah, so that's how it was. But yeah, so anyway, going back to that, what sort of damage did that end up doing?
Well, obviously, I phoned it and said, oh, Uncle Billy, you're getting an imbalance between the earth and neutral. So what you do is you either take the neutral out or take the earth out and carry on with the circuit if you want to cut it, or don't cut it. So, of course, I went back. I said, oh, sorry, lads. I just remember, it's an imbalance. So what I'll do is I'll just take it as if I knew, you know. They didn't sort of... but when I first started, I had a little book, and it was easy ways to wire a house.
Come on! Yeah.
Well, I hadn't done it for 20 odd years. I've been in a film game, which is plug and play. I've done all feature films and things like that.
You'd already got the gig, Billy. You'd already got the gig.
No, and I took the switch off of downstairs and the switch off upstairs to see what two-way wiring was. Yeah. And of course, it was old school. It's black and red. It's blue and brown.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and sleeving, a lot of sleeving.
Yeah.
But obviously, what happened was, I thought, wow, being on telly, I've got to be up with it. I've got to be much dated. So I went to the NICE, which is a body covering all electricians. And then I did my 17th edition, my 18th edition, my 2319, testing and everything.
Yes, yeah.
And never made a mistake since.
I love that. The fact that you've got a gig as the electrician on the BBC.
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone.
We need this. It's great. It's a great reveal. You've heard it here first.
It's a secret.
No, it's not. Well, it is between us and the 2 million people listening.
Well, let's make it 3 million.
Well, the fact that I just love that. You see, I had to sort of thought to me, I'd have panicked. I wouldn't have thought of going down to the bookshop and going, how to rewire a house.
No, they caught me in the back of the van looking at it. And Chris...
Who did? The producers or...?
Yeah, the camera and everything. Chris brought him over and said, have a look.
Chris Frediani brought him over?
Yeah.
Wow.
My best mate.
Wow. I tell you what, I love that. That is... I always think I was faking it. I still think I'm faking it now. And that's faking it till you make it, and you definitely made it. I love that story. Right, okay, so this one's from Has No Skill says, what's the most expensive thing you've actually blown up?
The only thing I can actually say, maybe it was see, people might not know what an 18K light is. It's a film light, and it's costs thousands of pounds, and I think a couple of bubbles blew, which cost they were if it's a 6K, they're £600. If they're a 12K, they're £1,200, and I done 18Ks.
So you can work that out for yourself. This one from Warren Thorne says, "How did you become part of DIY SOS?" We've already been through that, so we know that question.
Very lucky.
Dan from the Job and Knock podcast says, "Favourite butty from the calf." What's your favourite butty?
It's got to be egg and bacon.
Egg and bacon, it is. Dougal says, how do you feel about the terrible new houses being built today compared to when you started out? And you would have seen some changes. I've seen plenty.
I just think they're built at a speed that people are demanding them to be built out. They're not brick interiors, they're stud walls and everything. It is what it is. It's the way everything's going, revolving. It's revolving into, let's get this job done, let's get this building done, The old days, because of the cold weather that you had thick walls. But now where you've got all installation, your central heating, it's not the same as building a brick wall.
Yeah.
You build a stud wall,
Yeah.
But obviously... the soundproofing, you put soundproofing in, but it's not the same. It's not the same. And when you want to put a picture on the wall, it's hard to find somewhere to get a good fix in.
Yeah.
But
it is definitely.
It's just a way of life now. It's just a way of life. It's quickness. It's sustainability that you can live in it, and But obviously the old brick ones and everything they used to have big heaters, didn't they? Them storage heaters and everything, which were ugly and horrible, and took a lot of electricity.
They did.
And a lot of bricks.
Yes. So the bricks were poor quality as well. I mean, the new modern ones, there is some modern ones still out there today, that they're much more compact and they don't use as much electricity, and they release the heat better than those old ones. They were blooming awful. This one coming in from Trust Body Tools says, what are your thoughts on construction unions? Would you have a thought on construction unions?
I know what's happening at the moment, and I've obviously got my thoughts about it. I'm a very strong union person, and at the moment there are so many people going on strike. This is my opinion, but when they read what's happened through COVID, with a lot of people making lots and lots and lots and lots of money, and and you're only asking for 5 or 6 or 7% increase, and they're fighting you for doing that. For the people who actually work 7 o'clock to 7 o'clock at night, they're the people that are running the country. They're the your sparks, your plumbers, your ambulance, your NHS, your fire brigade, your police. They're the people that are keeping the country going by keeping order and getting work done. You know, and you've got people that sit in Parliament, and their second job, they get more money for that than you do for your first job. But when you come home, you shut that door, you're shattered. You couldn't go out and do another job. No. So let's look after the layman's, us, you know? Let's look after us. And if we're working and we're happy, the country's working, the country's happy. And when they read you do make millions of pounds on PPE and things that have gone the wrong way. I'm sorry, I don't want to get political or anything, but
you have no choice these days. You have no choice.
You've got to compare what you get to compare what someone else is getting.
Exactly. I think I absolutely agree with you there. Johnny Rambo's a bit cheeky. He says, "Are most sparks failed plumbers?"
I was going to... we're not live, are we?
We're not live.
All right, a plumber's an electrician with his bollocks kicked in. Sorry.
Here we go. I love it. I love the spirit. Des Walker says, with so many trades grouped together, are there any fallouts?
Oh, of course there is. There is. Oh, on DIY?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we have our rows. Oh, yeah, we will have our rows, and you'll see it. And nothing's hidden from it. But as a team, we're very close. And, you know, we talk through it ourselves. We'll row through it if you want. We'll row through something. But we all, in the end, that's right. I'm sorry, I've done it wrong. Or Chris would say, sorry, I was a bit... Or Jules, or Nick. Well, no, Nick's never wrong. Nor's the designer, by the way. Yeah. It's just me, Chris and Jules. But, of course we do. It's got to happen. You know,
you've got all them different personalities and everything else. It's going to happen somewhere along the line. Finally, this one from Lenny says, Lenny's a brickie, he says, with material prices through the roof, are suppliers still happy to supply for free? Are you finding difficulty there or not?
Electrical-wise, no. Electrically-wise, I go to a big electrical accessories place that makes them, Skolmore. They have helped us out so much. And if I need 20 sockets, 20 light switch in a special mode they make, that's there the next day. No quibbling, no nothing. Skolmore have kept us afloat like all the other merchant people. They've kept us afloat. And
through difficult times.
Exactly. These are hard times. We know that. that. And but they are full, and they don't get any adverts. They don't get no advertising. You don't see credits. BBC. You don't see credits. Lighting and electrical goods, Skolmore. Yeah. You know, or CEF, or you know, whoever.
It has to get blanked out, even when they're delivering. And if you've got any livery on you, you know, the loads. When I was doing a show with BBC, everybody used to turn up. The builders who were giving their time used to turn up with all their livery on their back.
Brand new, isn't it? It's all brand new.
Brand new boots, brand new workwear. No, sorry, mate, you can't have that.
They walk on it like that.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And then all of a sudden it hits them. They can't have it. Billy, so let's go now to your personal life, because we're now in a situation where we've got loads of memories in front of you, loads of various pictures. But tell us a little bit, first of all, about, you've got a back of a writing pad there, by the look of things, that's got signatures on.
Yeah, on the other side, there was a frame with a picture of Chloe and a picture of Emma.
Okay.
And what I did, I was working on the Parkinson's show. I was lucky enough to be on there. And
Parkinson's show?
Michael Parkinson.
Michael Parkinson as a lighting engineer.
Yeah, I was doing the light. Yeah, we was lighting the stage and changing lighting and things like that. We go in, we set it all up, and then Michael comes on, and then all his guests come on.
Let's just hold that up to the camera just a minute, if I can.
Yes,
I'll take that off you. So we've got, talk us through some of the signatures that are on this, Billy, on these.
Well, the most biggest one name that I know, obviously, is Bob Hope, who was an amazing character, and but the one that really sticks in my mind, that's always there, is Olivia Newton-John. We lost her, and very, very sad. The reason I say that is because I had the photos, and she signed Emma's "Lots of Love," Olivia Newton-John. And
I think Olivia Newton-John's on this one.
It's there. It's on both of them.
Oh, it's on both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see
this
that.
is Emma. This is Chloe and Emma's, and that's Chloe.
Yeah.
And she said to me, "Chloe, how do you spell Chloe?" And I went CHLOE with an umlaut.
So was she a guest on Parkinson as well at this time?
Yes. Yeah. These are all people. Oh, sorry, I'm not very good, am I?
No, it's fine. These are all guests on Parkinson.
These are all guests on one show. This is one show. He's got Lee Trevino. Dickie Henderson was an old dancer and that. Bob Hope, Olivia Newton-John, and there's one other, and I can't remember. But Olivia Newton-John, she said to me, "Wow, Chloe, what a beautiful name. If I ever have a daughter, I would call her Chloe." And you go, oh, yeah. 8 years later, she had a daughter and called her Chloe.
Do you know why I know that? Because when she passed away, her daughter was, they were doing an interview with her daughter, Chloe. So when you said that, I was thinking, that is amazing, isn't it?
That's a
real
honest truth.
God, mate, I tell you what, that is an absolute tribute. She's lovely as well. She is brilliant. She was obviously she was gutted and very sad. But that is a fantastic, phenomenal story straight away. How good is that? Now, talk us through, as long as it's not too difficult for you, but just talk us through your daughters as well, and of course Chloe. And tell us what happened there.
Oh, Chloe, she's got 2 children now, but Emma, she was our eldest. We lost Emma; she had cancer.
At what age? Right, hey, listen.
20.
20.
Yeah, I should, gosh, she gave us 20 beautiful years, and I can talk without getting emotional, but mate, it's hard.
If it happened to my daughter, she's 28 now. I don't know what I'd do. So,
well, this picture here, I remember we're going to Germany to do a film called The Kinder, and Emma slipped a UB40 tape in my bag, and that's when we used to have little cassette players and everything like that. You know, this is '89, and I played it, and it had 8 tracks on one side and 7 on the other, and it usually has 7 and 7. So I played them, and Kingston Town was on it.
Brilliant track.
So I phoned home. I said, "God, Emma's gave me this tape. Did you know there's a song called Kingston Town?" He said, "Yeah, Dad, you've been away that long. It's #1 in hit parade in England, you know."
Yeah.
And that was that we lost Emma in 1996. You know, she was 20, but she was a beautiful girl. She was a beautiful girl, and lots of friends, and her best friend Lindsay and her family. We are still so close, you know, and it's just a beautiful. It's really beautiful that people remember Emma, you know, and it's quite a few years.
It's a real accolade.
27 years ago, you know, sort of thing.
27 years ago, but 20 years old, God.
I know.
It's tough, mate. And so, bless you, you know, and I'm sure, you know, she's watching down and dead proud of her dad and what he's done and what the family and what they do. I think he's phenomenal.
Oh, thank you very much.
Just briefly before we get onto the book, because you've given me you very kindly given me a copy of the book. But there's a few other little interesting photographs here. I'm going to lift them up, and as I show them to the camera, just talk us quickly through them.
That's me in Berlin when we was doing a film called The Kinder, and they were actually taking the wall down in 1989. And we'd film a sequence, go to lunch, come back, to pick up the sequence, and the wall was missing where they'd knocked it
It
down.
had gone down. It had already gone down. Did you get a piece of it?
We did,
Yeah.
but I think Emma, one of the children, took it to school and never saw it again.
Yeah, I've still got mine.
Wow.
So talk us about this one.
That's me in Saudi Arabia with a group of Sparks and everything. I was out there in 77, and the story comes to mind, a couple of stories come to mind. When I was leaving to go on a train, my wife Elaine had been with her sister-in-law and found out that she was pregnant. And as she was coming down the stairs saying, I'm pregnant, I'm expecting a baby, I was waving saying, bye-bye, I'll see you in 3 months, I'm off to Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
You know, and the other things in 77, Pat Jennings went to Arsenal.
Yeah, that was to be as gutting as it was for your family. Who's going to have to wait 3 months before you see them. Now this one's an interesting one, a very poignant one as well, and not only because you've got you've got more hair than me even now, but you've got a full head of dark hair there. But where are you?
I'm on the Twin Towers. I was at the top of the Twin Towers. We were doing a documentary in New York, and I was actually there and had the photograph. We set a camera up, and it had done a 24-hour shot of New York, and it speeded up and everything. And that was, well, obviously what happened. And I was on top of there. But the thing about New York, I was in the Gramercy Hotel in Lexington and 1 first, and I went to the lift, and Tavares was there, but one of my favourite people, Dave Bowie, was there. And
As you do.
I walked in. I mean, he clocked my London accent type thing, and he said, "Oh, what's your name?" I said, "Billy Byrne." He said, "I'm Dave Bowie." I said, "Of course I know," and everything. And
Dave Bowie.
yeah, and it was brilliant, and he was so nice. We got out to live. But the next time I saw him was 1989. That's why we got the German. I saw him in Hamburg in the Holiday Inn, and he come with his entourage off the bus.
They were performing in Hamburg, were they?
I don't know. He
I
just
guess
come
they must
up.
have been.
He just come up, and I'm at the bar, and he stood at the bar, and he looked over. He said, "Billy," and I just went, "Oh, you know, you don't expect it. You don't expect things like that." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, obviously," I said, "New York was the last time we met," and obviously he just whisked off, but. That's the 2 times I've ever saw Dave Bowie, one in New York and
I'd
one
love to have just
Hamburg.
seen him once. Pass me the one with the Dickie bow.
Oh, gosh, that was...
What's this all about? Because we won't be able to get through them all.
That was the Blue
this.
Peter. They did a hair design of the year. And
Hair design of the year.
And I had to go dressed up in the penguin suit as the film lighting electrician with me basher, my hand basher, which was a battery light. And that was at Dorchester.
And you've got a Blue Peter badge on there as well.
And I've still
Have
got
you still
it.
got that?
I've still got it.
Interesting,
yeah.
mate. Right, so we'll fast forward now because we're running out of time. So we'll fast
gosh.
forward. We'll fast forward to the book, unless there's any one specific picture you'd like to pick up on in that lot, because you brought us loads there.
I just brought them as a conversation, to be honest. That was where The Good, the Bad, the Ugly was shot. There was me with Joe Brown and the brothers.
Joe Brown.
What we done a documentary on Lonnie Donegan.
Yes, the skiffle man.
Yeah, Lonnie Donegan brought the 3 keys to the guitar and everything, and that's where Joe Brown, Mark Knopfler.
Joe Brown and the
all
brothers.
That. Yeah, Mark Knopfler.
Yeah.
We interviewed all them, and the other one was
From Dire Straits.
Yeah, and oh my God.
Not Eric Clapton. You're not going to say Eric Clapton.
No, but not far off it. Brown Eyed Girl. You, my brown-eyed girl.
Yeah. No, I'm struggling to think. Brown Eyed Girl.
Help, Brown Eyed Girl.
Yeah, Brown Eyed Girl. It's Irish.
He was in them. The first group, them.
Yeah, you are really going back. You are really going back now.
Van Morrison,
Van Morrison.
Van Morrison.
I can see her looking out the window, walking by.
Everybody's got a Van Morrison album, surely. If they haven't, they should. What a classic. Now, talk us through the book next. Tell us why you did it and what it's all about.
Well, our golf club is 100 years old this year.
Which golf club? Tell us.
It's Wellingon City Golf Club. It's in Mandicots. It's been there as the very first golf club in Wellingon City. We've now got 3, but it's 100 years old. And it goes back what was nice is that the first captain's great grandson was at the golf club, and people through history, all the relations were at the golf club. And I brought you the book because there was another book launched. Did you hear about the other book launch? Something about siblings arguing and fighting and everything. But this book, there was no fighting or anything. It was just written.
Yeah.
Sorry, Harry. Sorry, William.
Yeah, of course. We need to talk about William and Harry. Of course we do. Of course I know that book. Of course I know that book.
Do you know it's half price now?
Is it?
Yeah, go to a good bookstore now. You get it half price.
Wow! Already.
Another 6 months, you'll be able to get it off the. What's them shops?
Like the pound shops or whatever.
Yeah.
It'll be the chuck out. So the book is to commemorate, obviously, is it 100 years of the golf club? Lots of good pictures in there, including one of your good self.
Yeah, I haven't read the book or anything, but on page 174,
it's imprinted in his memory.
The left-hand corner is a picture of me, Prince William, and Prince Harry when we met them in Manchester at Veteran Street.
Yeah,
and that's when I very first called them sausage. And I got a funny look, so I had to obviously rephrase it to royal sausage.
I love that, because the thing that surprised me was, and I didn't realise this, but when I was watching the show when Prince William came on and he said to you, "Hello, sausage," and I was thinking, I can't believe it.
That was Grenfell Towers. That was, it was an amazing job at Grenfell Towers. Amazing people helping, especially what a lot of them have been through.
Yes,
with
indeed.
But Prince William came down and Nick was there, obviously Chris, Jules, and as he went introducing Chris, Jules and Mark, and before he came to me, Prince William actually said, "Hello, sausage," and he shook my hand. I said, "Oi, that's my line."
But how proud are you then doing that? I mean, how brilliant is he, though, down to earth, to do something like that?
To remember it.
Exactly. I thought, do you know what? I was thinking to myself, when you get a knighthood next year, right, and the letter comes through, right, listen, he's listening, I know he is, right, and he can stand in for his old man to come and put the sword on.
Yeah.
Arise, Sir Sausage. I think it's got to be.
It's a bit on everyone's tongue, wouldn't it?
It would, mate, and very tasty at that. Billy, listen, it's been brilliant talking to you. I couldn't wait to get you in the studio so we could have a chat. First of all, good luck with everything going forward with DIY SOS. You are a shining light to our industry, and so are all the rest of the guys that help, and all the support team of our industry as well. Congratulations to them. Keep doing what you're doing, and all the people as well, the suppliers who are supplying everything. You're doing a fantastic job.
Well, if we wouldn't exist if it weren't for our suppliers.
Yeah.
And the way people actually give up their time for us, there wouldn't be a DIY SOS without them people.
Yeah. And big love to you and your family.
Oh, thank you.
And keep sending it. A lot of people don't realise this, but Billy occasionally WhatsApps me with tests. One of them was how many pairs of underpants you could put on with your work boots still on. That's
a taskmaster. We're doing a taskmaster thing between the builders of it's like the three electricians and Paul Hunt who've been on lots of our DIY. We're the taskmasters, and we do competitions. I
don't even own that many pairs of boxers. I'd have had to turn mine inside out, which I do anyway, to save on washing.
Gets you through the week.
It gets you through the week. It does. Yeah. My 7-day boxers, and also climbing beer crates and things like that.
Putting the radio at the top.
Oh, mate, I tell you what, they make me howl. Listen, it's always great talking to you, Billy. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll catch up with you again in the near future. Ladies and gentlemen, the brilliant Billy Byrne.
Oh, thank you very much, Clive. Thank you, Clive. And the same comments to you, Sausage. You're really good.
Hey, thank you, mate. Thank you for that.